So we learn in this week's episode that Welter is the law on this island, or rather the group that basically controls the law on this island. And the way they does that is partially by controlling Fest, which is the organization that provides food, water, clothes, and other necessities. And yeah, as we saw in this week's or in the previous week's episode, if you piss them off, you're getting punished, like Mirai was. And in this week, we also see it with Nightmare Tits and Myosota, because they are getting punished in this week's episode in the start for failing or like getting beat up by Meifong. And I wonder, how strong is Meifong? Because if she can beat up those two, and I cannot, wasn't they? I think they were C class. So Meifong, she's either really smart or she's a B class or higher. However, we also find out that if you're strong, you can actually get invited into Welter. And I think you must also be cruel or something, because why wouldn't Mirai and Mamori get invited into Welter? Considering that they beat A class without any problems, and we can see that A classes pretty much have they are no match against her. So there must exist a S class, because we actually see Mamori and Mirai lose to Kazumi in this week's episode, and she doesn't even use her arm. She uses, or they call it zero arm, which most likely means that she doesn't use arm. Also, there is another way they control their girls, because they have one guy called Akira who, from what I can see, he's basically just a puppet for them, and the only purpose he serves is like selling the idea, or like having someone, if something goes wrong, they can blame it on him, and also to control the ladies, because hey, he's a pretty boy, so yeah, they kind of can sell or like control them this way. But let's get back to Meifong, because she's able to track down our main characters, Mamori and Mirai, when Welters wasn't able to. And she's able to steal from Fest, which is pretty impressive. So I wonder, again, how strong is Meifong? And even thought, like she seems to be one that only works for money, she's actually a pretty decent person, because the reason she stole from Fest was to deliver it to, let me see, Torino town, who is run by Torino, who is like the leader of. It's not the resistance. They are basically just the runaways that didn't like how Fest was being run, so they has basically created their own like village. Which let's say like this. Well, I'm pretty sure they doesn't agree with that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what will happen to this village in the next episode. Now that Mamori and Mirai has been defeated. But let's actually talk about those, because there's actually showing growth in Mamori in a way. Because in this week's episode, she's actually the one that starts like uh, you know Yuri in this episode, and not like it's usually Mirai. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. That shows that she may like understand that she cannot be passive. She needs to, fight. She cannot be like a pacifist. She needs to fight if they want to protect what is important to them. And that is actually really, really good. And I'm surprised how deep this can actually become if they write it correctly and not ruin it. But still, it's really interesting. And before I start like going or derailing, I think I'm gonna wish you all a good day, good night wherever you are. And I'll see you later, guys or girls. Cheers.